Hey there, Kenneth French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Kenneth French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by. Disney to online events. We are hanging out with Justin Lawrie, who is going to help us to learn everything about online events. And who knows, if you're a virtual type of person, maybe you're going to be the next Google because of his suggestions. What's going on, Justin?
Not much. How you doing?
You like that, how I said that? Man, you got an interesting story. And, we've been virtual here at vastsolutionsgroup.com or Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs since '06. And there's just no way to put it. Being virtual, having online events that are virtual makes all the difference in the world. So this is going to add value to all our entrepreneurs, all the people are out there. So thank you so much for joining us. Seriously.
No problem. Glad to be here.
All right, real quickly, why is it, I've already said it's important to be, have virtual, if you will, foot stamp, if you will. Tell us why you think that's the case. And actually tell us a little bit about what you do with online events to add value to people.
Yeah. So here at Great X Studios, we help entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants grow and scale their business through the power of live virtual events. We do that through, something as simple as a Zoom meeting, which is crazy to think about. When we first started this, we didn't know how we were going to do this, but we started doing it and it worked really, really well. But, I think the biggest thing we do is we create what I like, one of my clients calls the Frank Sinatra mentality. Whereas our clients, they come to us, they tell us, hey, we want to sell this thing using the power of a live virtual event. And they show up, they do what they do best. And we take all of that tech stress, all of that off of their plate so they really can focus on what matters most. And I said earlier, Disney to online events. So tell us a little bit about your story. It's crazy, actually. I'm a big Disney guy. I love Disney. My family loves Disney. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. So tell us a little bit about your background.
So yeah, I started with the Walt Disney Company back in 2019. I did the Disney College program, fell in love with it, and never left. So have been at Walt Disney World as a cast member there in a variety of different roles, everything from attractions to food and beverage, vacation planning to now most recently concierge, even lifeguard in there at one point. But really, I've kind of been around the Disney bubble and ecosystem. And, somewhere along that path, just kind of found this passion for virtual events and really found a niche in a market that really it existed, but it didn't exist in the way that it does now. And I think even where it does now, I think there are a lot of businesses who still struggle with this. And
But
definitely,
it's a no-brainer to do online events. It's cost effective. The reach goes not only, within your whatever 25-mile radius, but also goes whatever 3,000 miles. So
it goes
really
global. It goes global.
Yeah,
There is
even
no,
global. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So, okay, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions
Oh
because,
yeah.
I think our listeners and viewers, most of them are virtual, so they'll kind of understand your situation. But at the same time, I know there's some people who have some questions. I have some questions about online events. As you know, we have an online software. We do webinars, what we call Vastcasts. And that's our software, our proprietary software. But I think that's just a little component to everything, especially with you using Zoom. So my questions are, so what tech package do you use besides Zoom to enhance Zoom? Because there's got to be obviously you've grown, you're a big time doing what you're doing from the sounds of it. So there's got to be more than just using Zoom. You know what I mean? I want to know your tech stack.
Okay, so at the core of it is our software we use called Obvio. Obvio is our virtual event platform. And what it allows us to do is create an event in the platform. So it's as simple as logging into Obvio, creating that event, setting up the parameters of the event, but we're building it all inside of Zoom. So your attendees are being brought into the air, you're building out your dashboard, building out even your sales and marketing pages, and heck, even your email can all be done inside of Avio. Now, do you have to do all of those things inside the platform? No, but it's
Mm.
there if you need it. And we really can meet you wherever you're at. So whether this is a 1 day webinar for 1 hour or a 3 day virtual event with an enrollment lobby, a tech check, and a full on experience, just as if it were in person, we really can meet you anywhere.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. So it's the whole experience from beginning to end. So let's say I'm having an event. Oh no, we'll use us. We're going to use us. We have an event every year. It's called the Entrepreneur Expo.
Okay.
We do that here at vastsolutionsgroup.com, where we invite whatever 10ish people in to come speak about their given topic. Like as you know, our deal is tax strategy. We do tax finance and artificial intelligence for entrepreneurs. So we've been using AI for years for that. So usually it's going to be someone connected to one of those components. We'll come in, invite entrepreneurs from all over the US usually, and then they'll attend. And usually it's in person, and sometimes we'll do it online. And this year it's just going to be online. So let's say we're throwing that together. This is going to help us, as a matter of fact. So what are some of your thoughts? Let's say we just started engagement. What is it that's the next question? So just some of our entrepreneurs understand what it is that you do.
Yeah. So the first thing we would do if you came to us and said, we're going to do this event, we would start to learn your event inside and out. So based on what you told me just in that 20-second overview, you said that you're inviting speakers, which in my mind sounds like a summit. So a summit is usually, for those that don't know, is usually a multi-day event where you're bringing in guest speakers, and they're usually speaking for like an hour or two, and people can come and go and hear which speakers interest them the most, but they only register one time. So it's not, and we see this a lot. People try to do summits themselves, and they'll be like, oh, you have to register for each individual speaker or this, that, or the other thing. And I see it a lot. And I'm like, that's just nuts to me. With us, we'll help you build out one summit registration that you could have one sales page. They register. We're using the data from your CRM. So, whichever CRM you're using, bringing that into Obvio, and then your attendees get emailed what we call the magic link. And it's a one-click login link that when they click it, they're now brought to their dashboard, but they're now logged in. So you now know their name, their email address, everything already is there. And as they interact with the platform, we can also send data back to the CRM. So maybe you want to know who exactly attended your event to be able to send an email after the fact that says, hey, thanks for showing up, or hey, sorry, we missed you. You can do that through the power of our software with Zoom attendance. And that's just one thing we can do. There's so much more to it than that, but just to scratch the surface.
That's your tech stack. And it could they could use their own, they could use Zoom or your stack. Got it. Within
Well,
this,
here's the cool thing. When they use our system, Zoom is included. So they actually don't even need their own Zoom account. We have,
I got it.
yeah. So Zoom is included.
Gotcha. That's cool. No, I got it. All right. And then they also have, if you will, a concierge. They have someone they could go to, Justin, as an example in this case, or one of your team members to help us through the process, I guess, right?
Yep. So you would get, first thing we would do is we pair you up with an event specialist, is what we call them. And they are really there. They are with you from the first step all the way until the end of the event, and even a little bit after that event, just making sure that any question you have, it's your one point person that you go to for any questions, anything you need, you go to them. They are there every step of the way.
Got it. So, and we have a community of roughly about 700 people in our community, of which some of them spend upwards of $199 a month. And we also have some people who've gotten in their free long story, and we also have a kind of a free section where they don't have access to as much stuff. It's called the Vast Vault. It's our community. So we kind of have an already existing ecosystem, already existing client base, if you will, and then we have other clients outside of our community, if you will. And then we also have some people who want to get our emails, et cetera. So over and above that, let's just say I want mass people in our entrepreneurial expo. Can you help in marketing to those kind of random people and or people who we don't know yet on, let's say, Facebook or Google or what have you? You do that.
So when it comes to marketing and marketing strategy, we are absolutely able to help you with the strategy, and like we'll give you what we see as best practice.
Mm.
But we're not the ones going in there and recording your content. We're not the ones putting it out on social media. At the end of
Got
the day, that is still going to be you, but absolutely we'll help you with the strategy and help you come up with the content, but we're
Mhm.
not going to be the ones to pull the trigger on it.
I understand. Got it. I totally get it. And then what about at the event? So let's say there's someone who's not very tech oriented. I'm thinking of one of my business partners who's not a great technician as far as tech. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you guys help in that regard also?
Yeah. So we are there with you every step of the way. We actually become the host of that Zoom meeting. So we're the ones that are the host. So, and everyone else is just a co host. But
Mhm.
muting, and then we also will make sure all the attendees are muted. So you don't have someone coming in and, oh my God, grandma, blah. You don't
Yeah.
have that. We mute everybody on default, and we actually restrict the ability for attendees to unmute themselves. So that button is disabled. If they
Yep.
try to click it, it will say, please ask the host. And guess what? That request is going to get denied every time. The only way to get unmuted is if you're asking a question and using a method we've already told you by raising your hand or a host calling on you.
I understand. So what about that chat feature? Because we internally usually sometimes will allow, let's say this Entrepreneur Expo, we will allow chats because people have questions that come to us as the host, if you will, or you guys as the host.
Yeah.
Are you an advocate of people having chats that everyone could see? Are you not an advocate of that? What are your thoughts there as far as strategy?
So, yeah, when it comes to chat, I love chat inside of virtual meetings. I think it's a great way because what we are always doing is we're always creating a sense of community. I want the attendees to feel like there is a community around the
Hmm.
event. Um, Even when we do our larger events where we have 5,000 people at those larger events, I still want those people to feel like they're all connected and they're all creating that sense of community. So, absolutely, I use chat. But what I do is I actually ask them to not put their questions in the chat. With the dashboard system, we have built-in form system. So we can
Hmm.
create a form on the dashboard and we'll say, hey, if you have a question, do us a favor. Go back to your dashboard, which is still open. It doesn't close when they open Zoom. Go back to your dashboard, click the ask a question button, fill out that form. And what's cool is the hosts have a moderation tool on the back end that we can
Got it.
say which ones are good, which ones are just we'll answer it later. We can moderate it on the back end, and it's much easier for us to be able to see it. So we really view the chat as community engagement. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily for questions. And we tell them, the odds of us seeing your question if you put it in chat, very, very low because we're not, yes, we are watching chat, we are monitoring it, but we're not it moves too fast for us.
Yeah, now I get it. I totally get it. Especially if you're having 5,000 people. That's a huge number of attendees. I
That was
can't
5
imagine.
that was 5 separate Zoom meetings all running concurrently. Actually, no, it was 10 Zoom meetings all running concurrently at the same time.
I don't know how you do that. You're the man. That's cool. Maybe you did that because you're Disney training. So are you an advocate of breakout rooms? So
Ab
meaning we don't
Absolutely breakout
yeah,
room.
okay. I got it.
Absolutely. We honestly that's actually remember I said 5, but I said 10 meetings were running concurrently. It's because that event used breakout rooms. We like the group sizes to be about 3 to 4 people per room. But if I were to just do 1,000, that actually makes my group size 5 to 6, which in my
Mhm.
opinion is too big. So I will run more meetings than I need. So that way, because what's really cool is Obvio load balances. Obvio, when they click that button, it's going to keep all 10 of those Zoom meetings at about the same number of attendees. So you're never going to see
Mm.
one with 500 and one with 100, one with 300. They're all going to be at about the same number. So they're nice and balanced, and it's really easy then to create those breakout rooms and keep your group sizes the same.
And by the way, before I forget, Justin, how do people get a hold of you if they're interested in some of the stuff you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to our website, greyduckstudios.com. That's GREYDUCKSTUDIOS.com. And right on our website there is a book a demo. And really, I highly encourage it. Even if you're not sure, talk with our team. We're there to help. We'll really talk you through the process, talk you through your first dashboard, all of that, and really show you what we can do.
Got it.
Trust me, it's more reachable than you think.
Yeah, I understand. I gotcha. I mean, plus, hold on. I should have asked this. What about follow up after the event? You guys help with that because that's key. I think
Absolutely.
I think that's probably the most important component
Absolutely.
of having an event.
Absolutely, we help with follow-up. We have a client right now where I actually have a login into their CRM, and their entire email sequence from beginning to end was written by me.
Yeah.
And I helped them set up the automation that when an attendee registers, they go through a series of emails. All of those emails were set up in advance. Their marketing team wrote them. I just helped them put them into the sequence. But
Yeah,
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 absolutely.
that's awesome. Okay, what about okay, here's a funny one there for you, Justin. What are some things or common mistakes that people make with respect to online events?
Treating it like it's just a regular meeting.
Hmm.
It is the most common mistake I see made all the time. Where, and no offense to the old style webinars from the early 2000s, late 2000s, but if you're just going in there, can everyone see my screen?
Mm,
Or, just the talking head, people are going to tune out. People are going to leave. They are not going to be engaged. By including things like gamification, which our
mm,
platform allows you to do through it's built in natively, by encouraging participation, by doing breakout rooms, by having the chat, really making it. And there's a reason we don't use Zoom webinar. Everyone says, oh, you must be using Zoom webinar. We don't. We use Zoom meeting, because the one
mm,
thing we want to do is we want to see you, and I can't see you on webinar. It's
mhm,
disabled for attendees. I don't like that. I want to disable your microphone, yes, but I can do that in a Zoom meeting just as easily and
mhm,
still be able to see you. So we actually just allow you to turn your cameras on, and we encourage our hosts to say, hey, make sure your cameras are turned on. We want to see you. We want to feel connected to you and engaged, because it makes a huge difference.
well, dumb question. Do you make it so everyone could see the other people in the, if you will, the webinar, what have you, or do you not make that the case?
Nope, it's a Zoom meeting. So we actually don't restrict the ability to see each other
Got
at
it.
all. Now, what we will do is we'll use inside of Zoom, there's a feature, and everyone can do this right now. When you have 3 or more people in a Zoom meeting, there's a feature called Spotlight, where I can essentially force the view on the attendee to a particular
Mm,
speaker. Now, here's the thing,
hmm,
I can do that, but if the attendee says, I don't want to watch just one speaker, I want to watch everybody, they can flip it back to gallery view all they want. It's just going to, for a second, flip it. And if they choose to change their view, they can change their view.
yeah, I got you. Okay, so that's helpful to know, because when we do our what we call Vastcasts, in that case we call them Vastcasts, again, the
Mhm.
Entrepreneur Expo, which is going to be in the spring or in the fall, generally speaking, every year. But what I would say is what we do is we have, at first we have everyone show up, and then we just kind of make it specialized for the one speaker, let's say for that, whatever, half an hour. And then it goes to an intermediary speaker and then another speaker. So we have it usually go from speaker to speaker to speaker, and we don't show the other people. But I understand what you're saying. And sometimes it does make sense to be able to show all the attendees per se.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And honestly, our clients, I've had them that come in very skeptical about, well, I don't know how that's going to be with them being able to see each other. But honestly, their energy changes, and
Yeah.
it's not so much for the attendees per se, but it really is for the host, and it does help
Mm,
those speakers. And being able to, I tell them, flip yours to gallery view,
mhm.
and you're just watching all of those galleries.
Yeah.
It's a lot more powerful, because there's something subtle about just the nod of a head or the raise of an eyebrow. Those subtle details, those nonverbals, really do.
Yeah. Totally, man. Yeah, I hear it. I totally hear it. This is good. All right. So again, let me kind of reset. My name's Ken French. I'm with Justin Lawrie, who's here with we're talking about event marketing, specifically, I should say, event online events. And we're here with Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Once again, my name's Ken French. This is huge because this is so many of our people are, viewers and listeners, they're out there are looking, I would say, looking for tips to, expand their reach. And one way to do that is by having events where they're bringing in, I don't know, 5,000 people to listen to their story. Hopefully they can add value to the people who are out there, which, by the way, that just blows me away that people would think, I live in whatever, Quincy, Massachusetts, and I just want to market to my people. I mean, why not market to people all over the country, all over the world? And one way to do that is, online marketing, or specifically online events. So With that being said, and we've talked about kind of the main mistakes that people make out there. Give us a story where someone's completely screwed up their online event and you've completely turned it into something unbelievable, or maybe not at one event, or just a series of events where you've added value, because I think this is going to be pretty cool to be able to hear what you've done.
So we have a client, and you guys can go look them up. It's the Land Geek. They run an online event called Boot Camp. And
I didn't hear it. Called what?
Boot Camp.
Okay.
So they had done this event prior to us. It existed before us as an in-person event, and they had done it one time virtually on their own, just using a regular Zoom account, which I will be honest, I commend them. And I've told them this. I commend them, and I looked at that first event, and I was like, it's not terrible. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's not great. And we just started picking it apart. We fixed you got to engage the audience more. You got to do more breakout rooms. We started going down the list of our best practices. And it was nothing major. I think the most major thing I did is I reformatted the content to put it into a format that actually sells, which is something we teach our clients all the time. We call it the 3x3 PAG. And it really, once I put it into that format and they saw it, I will tell you their most recent event, they had a increase in revenue comparative to their last event of 110%.
Oh my gosh.
Which
really?
Was crazy. And that was just comparing virtual to virtual. And I think when I compared it to the last in-person, it was like 162% or something crazy like that. It was insanity how much it was of a difference.
Yeah. And then the real question is, how much did you put in his pocket as a result? And I'm sure that's a pretty strong number.
It's a very strong number. It's close. It was just shy of $1 million, if I remember.
Oh yeah. So
it was just shy.
And your cost, I don't know what your cost is or what his cost is for you, but it's astronomically small in comparison.
It's super small in comparison. And, we really do think that we would rather be reachable to anyone who needs us rather than pricing ourselves out to a point where you may not be able to afford it. And that's why our pricing is priced the way we are. But, and there are other things we can do with events that, first time Mark was like, so one of the platform features is called a tech check, where when the attendees are checking in, they can click a button, they're brought into a Zoom meeting, and it's like we're doing right now. I'm brought into a meeting where I'm going to tell you some important information about the event before the event actually starts. That way the host doesn't have to on the first day be like, here's how to unmute. Here's how to turn your camera on. Here's how to do XYZ. We can do all of that during Tech Check. And the other thing it does, and this is the kind of the secret I don't tell them all the time, is what it also does is it makes sure that they're up to date on the latest version of Zoom. Because if they go to join that Zoom meeting, Zoom's going to automatically force that update. So when they're trying to log in the morning of day one, their Zoom's already updated. It's all good to go because they just did it the day before for that Tech Check. So it's little things like that that really do make a difference.
That's a good idea. So then, tech check, because I would think that's one of the biggest issues that people have. Oh my gosh, my tech isn't working out. I'm out of here. Anyway, but that's a whole nother deal. But that's cool. You guys do that. So what about live versus non-live or recorded events? What are your thoughts there?
I like them to a point, but I think you don't hide it.
Which one? Which one? Live or video? What do you mean?
Pre-recorded. I'm fine with them, but I don't like it when people try to hide it.
Got it.
I don't like the idea of, welcome, thank you for joining me, and they're just making it seem like it's live, but deep down it's not, because how funny, they never looked at chat. They never said my name. They never really called out anything from the chat. And there's just things you can catch really quickly if you know how to look for it. What I like personally is I prefer the live experience. I like the host actually with me, engaging with me. Now, that doesn't mean that pre-recorded content doesn't have its place. We actually had an event. It was actually the same event, Lane Geek Boot Camp. And we had a speaker who, kind of by mistake, we had him in two places at the same time. and couldn't do it. So we're like, how do we handle it? We actually took the recording from the last event and we played it back inside of Zoom.
Mm,
But we didn't hide the fact that it was pre-recorded. We
yeah.
were very upfront about it and said we had our live MC say, okay, we're going to watch the previous presentation. Even if you heard it the last time, this is still going to be valuable for you. We really set the stage for it. And we played it back. And when you do that and you're upfront and honest about it, I think it comes off a lot better than trying to hide it. And we also only did about 90 minutes of pre-recorded video versus an
Mhm.
entire 3 days. A 3-day event of all pre-recorded video gets old really fast.
Really fast. Yeah.
So yeah, I tend to like live. I also like the idea of if you're going to do like a replay event, we did Bootcamp Rewind where about 2 weeks later, we did the exact same event again, but instead of having to ask all the speakers to come back and everything, we just had our live host come back and he introed all of the segments.
Yeah. There you go.
And then we did it that way. That way there was still that live connection and we still did the breakout rooms. We still had that engagement, but what it also did is allowed the live host when we came back from the pre-record to tackle those questions that had
Yeah.
come up during the playback.
Yeah.
So
Well, we've
that's
done
what we like.
that makes perfect sense. What we've done in the past is maybe we'll change it. Maybe, maybe we'll hire you. It sounds like you're adding so much value. We should. But what we've done in the past is sometimes we'll have, a live event and then we'll have, let's say, a recording, let's say of the, whatever, 5 recordings or 5
Mhm.
segments. We'll have 1 recording as an example. We do let them know, generally speaking, that some of it is recorded, but we try to go live because we like the interaction with the
Absolutely.
clients, with the viewers and listeners out there. All right, I have a couple more questions. So then, this really is, it really is great, Justin. I really appreciate you being
Yeah.
here. Once again, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. By the way, we're just named top 20 business mindsets podcast for entrepreneurs by interviewvalet.com. Anyway, so which is pretty cool, by the way.
That is awesome.
That's pretty cool. All right. So then what's the typical engagement look like with you or with anyone in your industry, but specifically you? We sign paperwork. How does that work?
Yeah. So typically, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to finalize those details and get over a contract to you. That contract it's really to protect you, but it's also for our sake as well because it outlines the terms of your event. Because as I said, we have tech check, we have enrollment lobby where we will be your enrollment lobby help desk. We have different add-ons we call them that really just by putting it into the contract that way we know, hey, they have this add-on, make sure we're doing that, and it really just spells out the terms of that engagement.
Mm-hmm.
But once that contract is signed, the next thing is you get paired with that event specialist and you set up your weekly call. We meet in Zoom every week. We set up an hour-long meeting every single week. Sometimes we need the full hour, sometimes we don't.
Mm,
And then we'll do one-off meetings as needed. But like when you're first starting your event, you may find, oh, it's just our weekly meeting is enough. But as we get
mm,
closer, like when boot camp starts getting closer, for us, it's going to be, oh, we may have to jump on a few extra calls this week.
mhm.
But we still always keep our standing meeting and that never changes. And we could not do an event without that constant communication between the client and us.
Okay, let's say I wanted to do an event down the road.
Mhm.
When should I start engaging? When should I get involved in the engagement or sign the contract? Meaning a year out,
Get
a
up,
year and a half out
get
from
up.
my. Let's say it's a. How about that? Let's say I want to have a 1,000-person event. When should
Mhm.
I get in touch with you? I'm just looking for a timeline.
Sooner the better is
Yeah, that's what I
always
figured.
the best. We would rather have you come to us early and
Mm.
let us help you from the very beginning of it
Yep.
rather than we had one client that literally was like, yeah, we're having an event next week.
Yeah, I knew you were
We
going to
can
say
do it, but we don't like doing that, and we'd rather not do that ever. So the sooner you can get us involved, the better. It really does make for a much more pleasant experience on all parties.
that. I'm sure. But let's say it's 1,000-person event. I mean,
Mhm.
what would you recommend? I guess. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Ideally, you probably want about 6 to 8 weeks.
Got it. Oh,
You know,
so not that long. Okay, I
it's
gotcha. All
not
right.
super long, but at the same time, it's longer than you think. People think 2 to 3. A lot of cases, 2 to 3 is really tight.
Yeah.
6 to 8, it's pretty comfortable for us.
Yeah, I get it. Wow, you have a quick turnaround. That's awesome. So, okay, a few more questions. Sorry to be asking these questions, but this is such a topic. Like, I mean, by the way, we have 1,800, over 1,800 real estate agents. And
Mhm.
we've found a lot of our real estate agents don't have events, but it sounds like they're thinking about going more virtual, et cetera, et cetera. One I just talked to, a couple weeks ago. So what would you suggest for a real estate agent who's thinking about finally having an online event? And in this example, she wants to not only have the event for people to come, but use the snippets, as I call them, for online marketing going forward, for social media going forward, et cetera. Thoughts?
Absolutely. Absolutely do it is the
Yep.
first thing I would say. And keep in mind with us, we have an enterprise level Zoom account. So we have
Mm,
full HD video, which is not something Zoom normally gives you. Normally
yeah.
you have to be on the middle tier package or enterprise to get full HD video. We can do up to those 100 breakout rooms, but what it also gives us is unlimited cloud recording. We have all of our Zoom meetings set to record by default. So when
Mm,
you join our Zoom meetings, they're already recording. And we tell clients all the time, don't touch the buttons.
sorry.
Don't touch the record button. It's already recording. I'd rather record and we can edit it out than not have it be recording.
Mm,
The worst thing is when a client comes to me and says, hey, did we have that recording from that? And they had accidentally hit stop and now we don't have that recording. Now here at Great Oak, we have other ways that we do have backups recording, so they were fine. But if you were only relying on that Zoom cloud recording, that could have been really, really bad.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we do provide all those recording files. We send them to you, and then you can chop them up, edit them. We can help you with the editing as well. We have Adobe Premiere Pro. We can chop things up, get it out to you, and you can release it as micro content. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. All right, so we've been on here for quite a while. So what's one thing we have not discussed that you think can add value to, whatever, someone who might be able to use such services as, an online event company? What's one added value as we get ready to close the door?
It's really a sense of it's someone in your corner making sure you're thinking of everything that you may not have thought of yourself. Because a lot of times we may have that one thing that we know is best practice, but you may not have ever thought of it or be able to see it from a different perspective. Take boot camp, for instance. I've never been involved in land investing. I've never done raw land deals, but I looked at it from a completely different lens of, hey,
Yeah.
I'm the outsider who doesn't know this. I can look at it and I'll tell you honestly, like, hey, this works, this doesn't work. You know?
Yeah, it's nice to be able to drive the car, having someone who whatever knows how to drive the car versus someone who is a total rookie 16-year-old driving the car. It sounds like you're kind of the guy to be able to not kind of, you are the guy to be able to help walk down the path of online events.
Absolutely, I am. It's really just a matter of we know it works. We know the formula.
Yeah.
I say it to clients all the time, don't F with the formula because we know the formula works and it don't break what isn't broken.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know what's going on. You've been doing events. I mean, 5,000 people. That's a huge event. So you know what's going on. Your tech, your concierge level service, et cetera. So once again, how does someone get a hold of you if they're interested, Justin?
It's greyduckstudios.com. That's greyduckstudios.com. And then right on that homepage, there should be a book a demo button.
Man, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you for spending the time here with us today, and all those people who are out there listening and watching. I really appreciate it here. This is Ken French from Dallas Place, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Thanks, everybody.